I fell in love with what I was doing, and I was like, this is it. So I dropped out of graduate school. I quit waiting tables and I quit working for the closet company, and I wrote a business plan.
Hello, everyone. Elle Ballard is here today on our Empowered Global Women in Business podcast with my guest, Jennifer Williams. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome.
Hi, Elle. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time. I'm excited for this conversation. Such an interesting topic. Jennifer Q. Williams, founder of St. Louis Closet Company, has been a leader in the custom closet and home organization industry for over 34 years. With a passion for smart storage solutions, she has built a thriving business that helps homeowners maximize space with custom closets, pantries, Murphy beds, and more. As an expert in organization and interior design, Jennifer offers insightful conversations on decluttering, space optimization, and the impact of a functional design.
Thank you so much. Great intro. Thank you for that.
Yes, absolutely. So I love this story. I love the what you do with the whole organization, and we'll talk about it. But before we even get there, can you share with us how did your journey start? Why did you choose this field for your business?
I was 25 years old and I was going to graduate school at St. Louis University. I was studying communications. Like a lot of college students, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just waiting for that light bulb to go off, and I just wasn't sure. So I was waiting tables at a few restaurants, and a friend of mine moved to St. Louis from California, and he set up a custom closet company. Now, this was in 1991, so this entire industry was very new. People weren't really sure what it was. So he set up a custom closet franchise, and he said, Jennifer, I think you would love doing this. So I got a job and I got trained to be a custom closet designer. Elle, I'm telling you, after 2 weeks, I knew that this was it for me. My mom jokes that I was organizing my closet when I was in middle school, although we didn't even realize back then it was a thing. I fell in love with what I was doing and I was like, this is it. So I dropped out of graduate school. I quit waiting tables and I quit working for the closet company, and I wrote a business plan. I had not gone to business school, so I wasn't exactly sure how to start and open a business, but I had grown up in a family of entrepreneurs. And we always just sort of figured things out, right? I mean, like a lot of entrepreneurs, we just, go forward and we just figure it out along the way. So I wrote a business plan and I got approved for a small business administration loan. And it was November of 1991. And that's when I got started. So 34 years ago, it was me and one other person I had hired to help me manufacture and install the closets. And we quickly grew through referrals and word of mouth because the product is great, right? The service is fabulous. But what it was, I believe, was people crave this sense of organization, right, in their lives. And so we were providing something that really hadn't existed in the past. Most people have in their closet, one shelf across the top and one pole. And that's all they had. And so they didn't understand how much additional space and shelving and drawers that you could get into a closet just by organizing it. So that's how I got started. And I haven't stopped since. I love what I do. Entrepreneurship is full of a lot of ups and downs and a lot of hard work.
Yes.
People say, oh, you're so lucky. And I don't think luck has anything to do with it. I think it's all really just showing up every day. What we do is not complicated, but it's a lot of hard work.
I agree. Yes, yes. And thank you so much. 34 years. Congratulations. That's amazing. Thank you for setting, the way for women entrepreneurs, for leading the way for all of us to start our businesses, excuse me, to start our businesses and, follow this beautiful journey of entrepreneurship with ups and downs and pivoting and maneuvering. But yes, what a beautiful story. 34 years, I didn't realize that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
We just celebrated someone's business. She 40 years in business.
Yeah.
Her 40 years in business, and I love that. I just love celebrating that. So I'm celebrating you today. Awesome. In this 34 years, of course, there are so many lessons and celebrations. I'm sure, or maybe one big one that you would want to share that you learned in your journey in building a business as a woman on your own terms.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for offering this great platform for women business
Yeah.
owners. And it's something that I feel very, very strongly that, supporting other women business owners, really all small business owners. I feel like it's so important, but women, I feel like have sometimes another level of challenge, right? Maybe we're competing in a male dominated industry. Like when I started, it was the construction industry. Women just weren't in that area. Maybe women, get married along the way, which I did. And then all of a sudden you have a husband. And then I had 2 children, and sort of balancing motherhood with
That's right.
business ownership, that it's always a challenge. Thank you for having a podcast like this that supports women, because I think that's so important. I think along the way, maybe, I don't know if it's an event or a lesson, but I think that the most important thing for entrepreneurs of really any size business and any stage in your business is you have to be willing to take risks and make decisions. And those things seem pretty easy, but if you really, really look inside yourself and determine, are you a person who can make decisions? There are definitely people out there who cannot make decisions quickly. Those
Yeah.
people are probably not good at entrepreneurship or small business ownership, because an average human being makes 30,000 decisions a day. Simple little decisions like, do I want water or you want coffee? Do you want to put sugar in? Or are you
It's
going
a
to use
lot
a
of
spoon or a
decisions.
straw? 30,000 decisions. Well, I think when you own a small business, you make another 30,000. And
Yes.
and on top of that, you have all of your employees and all of your suppliers and all of your customers waiting on you to make those decisions. Nobody can move forward unless you make those decisions. So, hemming and hawing and I'm not sure and taking too long, you're not moving forward. So I feel like making decisions, number one, hugely important.
Yeah.
And you have to also realize that it's okay to make the wrong decision. As you're going down the road, you're going to think, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but let's pivot, let's move, let's take a different path, correct it, and keep moving forward. You can't freeze when something doesn't go right, because things are not going to go right every day, and you have to just keep moving forward. And then finally, taking risks. When I started my business, it was a huge risk. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of collateral. I didn't have, co-signer on the loan. It was just me. And I put a lot of debt on credit cards to start the business. That was a big risk. When I bought my first building, that was a big risk. There have been 3 major things that have happened during the time I've owned my business. The first one was 9/11.
Yeah.
We didn't know, the whole world shut down for weeks, if not months. And we didn't even know if we were going to still stay in business, if anybody would ever buy our product again. Then in 2008, when the housing crisis hit and the big recession or whatever they call it, that really changed a lot of things for us. And then COVID hit. And
right.
in St. Louis, we were told, you have to close for 2 weeks. We were going to flatten the curve. Everybody was going to go home for 2 weeks, and then it was going to be over. Well, almost 3 years later, we were still,
Wow.
working through all of the details so that we could stay in business and continue operating under the rules and regulations of our city. Being able to take those risks, if you're not comfortable with, risk taking and you're not good at making decisions,
Yeah.
I think you need to really second guess getting into entrepreneurship. I love it. I look at it as a challenge. I love it every day. I love the ups, the downs. I wish we didn't have the downs, but we do. And that's just part of the business, and you keep moving forward. But I know that there's a lot of people that, think, oh, I want to do this, but then they're not really sure. So that would be sort of my two things. You asked for one thing. I think risk-taking and decision-making are probably the two key things.
Yeah, those are so great. Thank you. So great. 30,000 decisions a day.
Mhm.
It's so interesting you mentioned it because I had a friend who started a business before I actually started mine, and I was in a corporate at a time, and I remember asking her, like, how is this experience for you? Are you liking it? Are you enjoying it? How? Because I started thinking, considering myself, and I remember she said exactly that. She said, I just make so many more decisions on a daily basis.
Mhm.
And back then, yeah, I mean, I understood it, but I didn't really understand and resonate until I started my own. So true, right? And sometimes I just want to, can this way get? Oh, it's such a good point, such an important point that we don't hear often. So thank you for that. And
Right.
risk, yes, risk. And I can only imagine was a custom closet logistically during COVID, the pandemic, right? It's so good. So thank you for offering that. Thank you for sharing that. First of all, I love the Murphy bed. We spoke a little bit before we started the podcast. The Murphy bed idea, I think, is, and I didn't know they called like that, but the way to save space
Mhm.
nowadays.
Mhm.
And all these little things, how many of us don't even know what can be done with the space we already have, right? Because I think we can automatically make an assumption, oh, we need a big space, or this or that, or and I love the custom closet picture behind you. Looks beautiful. But I want to talk about the functional design. What is functional design? First of all, is it connected to feng shui or maybe not? And then, how important is functional design in our life?
Okay. Well, so at St. Louis Closet Company, just real quickly, what we do is
Yeah,
we come into the home and we sort of, you know, inventory the items, whether it's
yeah,
clothing and shoes for a closet, or maybe it's a laundry room or a pantry or a garage or a mudroom or a home office, wherever it is in your house. And we measure the space and we inventory the stuff that you want to store. So some people think, oh, well, that's a beautiful cabinet. That's not necessary in my garage, or that's not necessary in a closet. I don't want to spend that money. But it's so much more than that, because the functional design part, in my mind, this is my
yeah.
definition. I don't think it has to do with feng shui at all.
Okay, okay.
Functional design is taking the space that you have, whether it's a very small reach in closet, a tiny little nook, a big, large walk in closet, whatever it is, taking that space and making it function for the person who's using that space. So that space
Mm,
becomes functional to them to not only house the items that they want to have in that closet or that space, but allow them to see them, to
yeah.
reach the items, have access to it, be able to get dressed faster in the morning, be able to, if you have a
Mm,
mudroom or
yeah.
a drop zone right off your kitchen where each family member has their own locker and they can store their purse, their book bags, their homework, their sporting equipment, then each person in the family is able to function better, because they have a space, they have a system. And these systems, once again, they're beautiful, but they're more functional. And what we try to do at St. Louis Closet Company is design spaces for people that are going to work with their lifestyle. Everything in our systems is fully adjustable from the floor all the way to the ceiling. So the systems can be changed at any time, which is also, I think, a great functional aspect, because, like, for me, for example, when I was younger, I wore a lot of high heels and wedges and, boots with heels. Well, I just turned 59, Elle, and I cannot wear anything other than flat
Um,
tennis shoes, right?
Happy
But
birthday.
all my shoe shelves
Yeah,
were adjustable. So, high heels, you adjust them, 8 inches tall.
yeah.
And now I wear flats and tennis shoes. So I was able to lower those shelves for my flats and my tennis shoes, therefore allowing me to
Oh,
store more shoes in my closet. And the other thing is
great
about
idea.
function is you can take the things that you are spending and investing money on, and we'll just talk about closets. Think of how much money people invest in shoes, purses, belts, dresses, suits, clothing. A lot of money. A lot of money. And if you're not taking care of that investment, the shoes tend to get all scuffed up. You can't find what you have. You tend to buy more because it's just easier than, oh, I forgot. Or how many people still have something in their closet that has the tags on that they bought, 2 years ago? Things like that. It causes you to be more organized and be intentionally organized. Therefore, I think it takes better care of your investments. But two, it allows you to live this sort of streamlined, simplified life. Rubbermaid did a study that said if you have an organized closet, it will save you 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes every single day. So, take a
Wow.
family of four. I mean, you're at, almost an hour a day of time you're saving within your family, just looking for
Mhm.
things or finding things or trying to put things away. To me, the functional design part is how can we take this space, wherever it is in your home or your office, and allow it and design it and allow it to be functional for you and how you use that space? Because we all use spaces
Yeah.
differently, right? We all have different things. We all have different needs. And that's why the custom aspect of it is so important.
I really like that. Functional, that works for me. I love the tip for the shoes. Amazing. I never would have thought about that. The heels, like now that they're wearing flats, I love the flats too, and I love the heels too. And but just really adjusting for that space wise. And who doesn't want to save 10 minutes a day?
Right,
Just yeah,
exactly.
yeah, and sometimes even thinking, what do I want to wear tomorrow? It takes time, right? So having that prepared, yes, I like that. Beautiful. And the whole idea we talked about how that plays, the organization plays into the lifestyle, the
Mhm.
organized lifestyle, right? So
Right.
important to embrace that. If you can elaborate a little bit more on that,
Well, I think it
the
brings a
yeah.
sense a sense of calmness or stress-free living
Yes, less
when you don't have
clutter.
all the
Yeah.
visual
Hmm.
clutter throughout your house, right? If everything has a place,
Hmm.
a place for everything is our motto. If everything in your home has a place, then you don't have all this visual clutter. We live in a world right now where we buy too much stuff.
Yeah.
We buy at big box stores. Do a lot of online shopping. Fast fashion is really in this sort of inexpensive, I call them bags and a dress. My daughter,
Hmm.
who's, just graduated from college, these girls, they order all they're $20 dresses and they come all
Yeah.
wadded up in a bag and they order 4 or 5 of them at a time. And we just have too much stuff. So
Yeah.
if you start putting systems in place to keep you organized, you tend to start realizing how this clutter-free lifestyle really does, instill this sense of calmness in your home. Because I mean,
Yeah.
when you're sitting on the couch watching TV and you're looking around and there's a pile of stuff on the steps and the
Hmm.
laundry, detergents and cleaning supplies are piling out of the kit, and things aren't
Yeah.
in a place, it causes stress.
Does. Yeah. And yeah, this space in my head, I know when, and I like the minimalistic, like
Hmm.
anything minimal, just desk and chair and the lifestyle. It just gives me this space, visual space gives me space in my head, right? And
Hmm.
calmness, like you said. It's so interesting how that connects. So important. Thank you so much for giving us a little more. Now, do you work with clients nationwide or only in where you are based?
We just work in St. Louis, Missouri, and the
Okay.
surrounding metropolitan area. However, there are closet companies around the United States that service different areas. My only recommendation is, I'm a big supporter of small business, so always try to find, a locally owned,
Yeah.
maybe woman owned small business in your area to come out and give you an estimate. And a custom closet company should come out and give you the estimate and the space ideas for free. So it doesn't cost any money to get the design. And then you can at least see, and I think people are overwhelmingly surprised at how inexpensive it is. Like they have a price tag in their head. and they think, oh, I could never afford that. It's too expensive. It's not as expensive as people think. And the amount of organization and joy you get when you get organized, I think it's well worth it.
Thank you. That's wonderful. And we will post links for how to check out Jennifer's company and how to connect if needed. We'll post links for all the channels as well. Now, I want to move into the rapid fire questions section of our conversation.
I'm ready. These stress me out all the time. I always second guess my answers. I always second guess later. Later, I think, oh, I should
Yeah,
have said this instead.
yeah, and usually the first question sometimes people forget, and I know how easy it is to forget when I ask about the book name. So the favorite book name, and maybe you have one. Maybe it's the one you're reading right now, but if you have a book name that resonated with you, could be any book.
Well, that one's easy for me.
Perfect.
It's a newer book. It's called Styles of Joy, and it's by S.C. Perot. That's Ross Perot's granddaughter. She is a professor at Vanderbilt University, and she went through some hard times in her life, and she realized we all need, especially her at the time, needed more joy in her life. So she went on this sort of mission to find joy. And as she was finding joy, she was also then realizing how important it was to be spreading joy to others. And while I feel like my business and my mission is to organize people, to help other small business owners, especially women business owners, is spreading joy to the world in any way we can.
like
So
that.
I just really love the idea behind this book. I love her. I love everything about it.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, beach or mountains?
Oh, beach, definitely. 100%.
Favorite international destination to visit?
Oh, Florence, Italy. Of the places I've
Yes.
been so far, I have to say, yeah,
Yeah.
Florence, Italy. The food and the art, it's amazing.
Summer or winter?
Winter. I love coats. I love winter coats.
Okay, and the final question is things that you have discovered about yourself recently.
Well, okay, so this is a good one. So I'm not a pet person. Never been a pet person. I had allergies growing up. We never had pets. I've never had pets. And so I was never around them. And so I think I just was like, oh, I don't like pets. Well, my son just recently got a new puppy, and I have madly fallen in love with that puppy, of course, the
Oh,
cutest puppy in the entire world. But all of a sudden, now that I am around his puppy more, all of a sudden, because I walk every morning, all of a sudden, all the people are walking their dogs. All of a sudden, I'm petting dogs and I'm talking to the dog owners. And all of a sudden, so it's like something that for, 59 years of my life, I was like, nope, not a pet person. All of a sudden, I'm feeling like I'm a pet person. And I think it has to do with, this is a small thing, but like thinking outside your box, right? And trying
yeah.
something new. You think you're not going to like it. And then all of a sudden, you're exposed to it and you're like, oh, I think I really like this. I don't know if I'm going to get a puppy of my own, but I am babysitting the puppy this weekend. So that's exciting.
I like that. That's awesome. Haven't heard that before. Really unique. And it gives you joy, right? It gives
It
you
does.
joy.
It does. Absolutely. His name is Cooper. He's so cute. Oh,
Cooper!
he's
Our
so
dog's name is
cute.
Cooper too.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, they're so cute. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for playing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for, taking the time to be here to share your story, leading business owned by a woman. And congratulations with celebrating 34 years.
Well,
That's
thank you,
beautiful.
Ellen. Thanks for your listeners. And, feel free to reach out anytime if anybody has any questions or anything at all. I'd love to, chat with any of your listeners.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer. I'll talk to you soon.